Matthew chapter 10, verse 34. Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against his mother, and a daughter-in-law against his mother-in-law. And a person's enemies will be those of his own household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it. And whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. That is what sacrifice is about. That is the true example of what Jesus came to this earth to do. He came to carry out the Lord's plans. He came to bring souls to Christ. He came to do the Lord's will. He did not come to strike down the law, but he came to increase it. He came to bring a sword, to knock down evil, to destroy sin, to kill sin, and to bring anew. What am I trying to tell you? I want you to lock in with me, bro. I want you to lock in with me right now. Why do you think you were created? Just comment down below. Why do you think you as a human being, as you as a personal person, you as a just your own being, why do you think you were created? Do you think you were made to be like Lucifer? Do you think you were made to be just an average person? Do you think you were made to not be God's child? Do you not think that you don't have purpose? Let me ask you something. Have you been in a place, because for me, I come from a Christian household where we went to church every Sunday, and that was the law in the crib. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. That was the law, and there wasn't going against that. Otherwise, you were getting in trouble, you were getting beaten. So there was no way I was getting out of going to church unless I was sick. And the thing is that I didn't understand at first going to church is, why do I go to church? What is the point of all this? What is the point of going to worship God? What is the point of all this? And I learned at the age of 12 is when I actually got baptized. I'm 22, by the way. How someone who got baptized at the age of 12, I clearly understood what the death and the burial and the resurrection of Jesus Christ was. And I understood what purpose was through that. Jesus' purpose was to die on the cross for our sins, to carry out his mission. He passed away at approximately 33 years old. He died young. He passed away young. And he came and carried out our sins for you and for me. He died for our namesake. But he did it because God commanded him to. But guess what? Jesus did this out of his own will. He did this out of his own love. Maybe, and just maybe, something deeper than our own personal motivations was to be carried out because of love. Maybe the reason you were made was because you were made for something greater than yourself. Maybe you were made to just serve others, to be loved. Also, yeah, you want to be great. You want to be great in your own respect. But you were created for something greater. You weren't created just to benefit your own self, to only make your own life. Because monetary and personal funds are not a bad thing. But when they are your only focus, and when you feel like that's your only purpose, then that means you have lost the true happiness in this life. Right? Because at the end of the day, if you are not carrying out God's plan for your life, that means you are carrying out a lie, a fallacy, and you have a personal vendetta. And that vendetta is to only make yourself feel good. And I learned, as someone coming from a Christian household, how much sacrifice played a part in how my parents raised me and how much that has influenced me to this point. Sacrifice is going to be one of the biggest key points in your life. Because if you are not really ready to sacrifice, you are not ready to be a Christian. Let me say that again. If you are not ready to sacrifice and serve others, you are not ready to be a Christian. If you are not ready to take some punishment, if you're not ready to pick up that cross, as Matthew has talked about, guess what? You are not meant to be a servant for Christ. At least you're not ready to be a servant for Christ. If you are not willing to go through the struggle as Jesus did, if you're not willing to go out into a city of non-believers and teach with being persecuted, right? You got people in other countries right now who are being persecuted for worshiping God and being a Christian. And see, you're so blessed because you get to do that. And if you're an atheist, you have an opportunity to do that. But what I'm trying to say is, y'all, you don't understand how much sacrifice has played a big role in me coming to become a Christian. Because at the ripe age of 12 years old, I realized that the death and the burial and the resurrection have so many pieces. That death, that cruel death on the cross, was how everything started. And then he was buried in that tomb. But people didn't understand that he was going to be resurrected, that he was going to have a comeback. He was going to work within us. And because of Jesus' resurrection, we may have an opportunity to be up there with them, with Jesus Christ. And I think that's super special. You can't overlook that. That's not something you can just play around with. You can't play around with that. And what people don't understand is peace, right? It says, do not think I have come to bring peace. Jesus didn't come to bring peace. He came to save souls. He came to save souls, regardless of the circumstances. He came not out of the kindness of his heart, but out of doing the Lord's will. He had to get to it. And he was a perfect human being and was still persecuted. So if that is not the totality of you preparing yourself to go into the battlefield for the cross, for God, that means you're not ready to be a Christian. You're not ready. Till you're ready to sacrifice your life, your needs, every single day for God, you are not ready spiritually, mentally, or even physically. You just aren't ready. How can you get ready? Continue to work. Continue to work in the vineyard. Continue to increase your faith. Continue to come to God in prayer. Ask for forgiveness. Ask for more strength. And ask for a servant, Christ-like mentality. What does it take to get to this Christ-like mentality, the servant mentality? Just as Jesus did. I forgot what book it talked about it, but there was a point in time where Jesus was washing people's feet. Jesus was washing people's feet. Think about it. The Messiah was washing other people's feet. But this was to show just how much of a sacrificial heart he had. The ultimate was the sacrifice. But that was also in addition to how many people Jesus had healed from leprosy. How the blind man was healed. How the man with the demonic spirit attacking him just with a snap of his finger, just with a word, it was cast out of him. And that's so special. You can't ignore something like that. The power that Jesus has, just because of his sacrifice, is so special. What am I trying to tell you in this video? I want to wrap this video up. Jesus didn't send you to be basic. Jesus didn't make you to be average. A lot of people out here are living average lifestyles, and I'm not talking about from a money perspective. I'm talking about from a Christ-like perspective. You weren't made to sit on the sidelines. You weren't meant to be resting on the baseline. God made you to be a servant. He made you to use your gifts and talents to bless others. To use your voice to heal people, to be that light to people who are lost. This world is lost. You can't continue to sit on the sideline and mope. I have to tell myself this every single day, and I want you to take this statement I'm about to tell you. And if you don't learn anything else from this video, I want you to take this statement. Lord, I know you made me for something greater. You made me to be great. You made me in your image, and you made me to be a servant, to be a brother, to be a loving husband to be a loving person, to be a loving individual, and to be a servant of you. And Lord, I thank you for creating me. Lord, I thank you for making me. Lord, I have so much potential and purpose. Lord, don't allow me to dim myself for others. Allow me to work within people so I can be that light that you have made me to be. Be that light. I hope you learned something. Click the description and click the link in the description for one-on-one coaching. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, God bless.